I trusted me and put my faith.
Welcome on into Booby's World with Daniel Booby Gibson, Rafa Alcalde. I'm Nick Padone. What is going on, guys? Welcome back in the studio.
Is this the first time we go back to the studio since Booby hit that 50-footer
I think so.
at the golf course?
So, yeah. I shoot it anywhere, though, Rafa. You know how I get down.
Shoot it, Booby!
Yeah.
For those of you that missed it, Booby had a circus shot caliber golf
Can't
putt.
ex-
I would say 40-yard putt. First time out there, looked like a pro.
Dare I say, it was the last shot at the last hole. We played 9, but he was like, let me take. I had put my gloves away, and Booby's like, no, let me take this putt. It was like a 40-footer, 40
If
plus.
you kind of know my resume, I kind of make shots when they matter. You know what I'm saying? I could be having a rough day at it, but like when it matters most, I'm going to knock it down. That's what happened, man. It was a lot of fun out there. I was pretty bad for the rest of the course, but when it mattered, I knocked it down.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. Let's jump right into it, kind of go around the NBA. Victor Wembanyama has all the hype around him right now, and I wanted to ask you guys this. He's obviously a can't-miss prospect, number one overall. Is there any concern that he has too much pressure on him now at this point to lead the Spurs, a historic, storied franchise with one of the best coaches in the game? Is there now any chatter that there's too much pressure on Wemby?
Look, I was waiting on you because you hit me with the can't miss line. I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because I look at the history of the draft and I look at guys his size. Like, has there been another? Maybe they haven't been able to handle the ball as well as he can, but has there been another 7-footer that slim to come in and really dominate the game? I haven't really seen it. You know,
Not that skinny. Nowitzki.
Right, but it took even
Durant,
him a little bit. Even KD, KD is still KD, so it's a little. That's what we're hoping that we get out of Wembanyama, but we got to see him, in college a little bit. So I'm not so sure about the can't miss, but when it comes to the pressure of it all, I just think that he went to the right spot. They already have a network of foreign players.
Experience doing it.
Like Tony Parker was there, so he's in the right spot and the right fit to be successful. I just think he'll need like a Robin, or he'll need somebody else that could really score the ball or make the game easier for him before we start to crown him as the next big thing.
Yeah, and I think he'll get that, Booby, because of what you just mentioned of Popovich. As much as I dislike his interviews in between quarters with the people, the members of the press, and everybody just laughed at him being a bully. But we'll put that aside for now. But I think pressure not from the side of coming to the show, because internationally these kids they go pro at 13, at 12. They leave their home. I mean, we have Jerry Osman. He left his country at age 10, 12 and became a professional. So I don't think from that side, I don't think the pressure counts. I think it's going to be interesting to see, and Booby, you know this, whenever there's a guy that comes into the league, the number 1 pick, everybody wants to take it to him. And when you're talking about big, I remember when Kyrie was number 1, and everybody wants to make sure that let's see what you got.
He proved to me real quick that he was.
But I'm saying, but I don't know if that side of pressure is gonna be too much for him, because they are going to take it. Not only he's being number 1 pick, but now he's got the unicorn title next to it, and it's the international thing that nobody knows about. So it's a little bit unknown there. And the lightweight side.
But you hit it, though. Like, all the guys in the league.
Everybody.
They see the headlines. They see, he's the next one coming. So, Embiid, your Jokic, they waiting to.
Giannis, everybody.
They waiting to welcome him to the league.
Yeah.
So, from a pressure standpoint, like you said, I think he's experienced high pressure moments before, but he ain't never played against guys like this at this level.
Not with the chases, not with the body, not with the body armor, with LeBron.
Right. You gonna learn
Draymond
real
Green,
quick
all
that
those
this
guys.
is a man's game and a man's league. But I really think that he has all the tools to be successful. I don't just want to shoot him all the way down, but I do think it's gonna be a whole lot harder than everybody.
And a great thing about it that he'll have nothing to do because he'll be in San Antonio. So.
Why everybody hates San Antonio, man?
Just caught a stray.
Man, they catching strays, though. Barkley do the same thing. I'm like, what did San Antonio do to y'all?
How about this one, guys? A piece of what you mentioned, Booby, is it being that perfect fit. And obviously they have the experience with the international players out there in San Antonio. How much does landing spot matter? Not just for Wemby, but for any guy that goes in the NBA draft. For example, like, is Carmelo Anthony's career different if he goes to the Pistons? You know, so like, how much does that really matter?
It is everything. It's everything, because you can go to a team, be talented as you want to be. I think of a guy right now off the top of my head, Tyrese Halliburton. Lands with the Sacramento Kings. He got De'Aaron Fox right there. And I'm sure in practice, he killing. So they like, we got to give this kid opportunity to play. But you play him next to Fox. And he like, I don't know how good he is. Trade him, all-star the next year.
Both sides did really well on that trade, by the way.
Right, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's really about finding a team that fits your style of play and a coach that has that trusts you to be yourself. Because sometimes you get on teams and they don't trust you to be yourself, and you become a shell of a player. So for guys going into the draft, like even myself, when I went into the draft, I shut my workouts down because I wanted to play with Bron. I feel like that would be my best opportunity to be successful. So I think these kids, their agents are trying to work them into the right situations, but I think fit is everything when you think about long term.
And when you think about fit, you know, one thing is to come in, and I remember I wasn't much of a fan of the Nuggets when Carmelo got in there, but like most of these guys come in, and rarely you get the guy like Wembanyama that is going to come in and everything is going to be about him and around him.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the situation where Carmelo came into the league or any of the other guys that were kind of like Mobley, for example.
Yeah.
We know he's gonna be the centerpiece of a franchise, but he's not like, even though he's played every game and started and everything, but he hasn't really been his responsibility to carry the team and everything, right?
It's a process.
Wemby is coming into a thing where like he is the piece. So
that's like the LeBron idea, right?
Yeah.
Like when Bron came in, it's like, here the keys, but he like, you an 18-year-old kid. Like, what you supposed to do with it? And that's why, like, Bron, to me, like, the more I talk about his career, like, the more he becomes, like, the GOAT to me. Like, just overall. Like, to come in at 18 and play in a league where we talking about everybody's coming at you. Like, you've been crowned the king, so everybody want to take that.
He's a high school kid that was on the Sports Illustrated cover.
Everybody want to take that throne, and you answer that call every night for 20 years straight. Like, that says something. But yeah, I got off track thinking about Bron. But just overall, though, fit is very important.
It's huge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's what it's all about.
All right, let's call your guys' shots. 5 years from now, who's going to be the best player from this NBA draft? Is it Wemby? Is it Scoot, Brandon Miller, a Thompson brother? Call your guys' shot.
Ain't no way. I just talked about Wembanyama. Ain't gonna be ill to me. But I'm rolling with Scoot, man. I think the G League route and me seeing him play against like high-level competition for the last, I want to say, year or two, I think he'll be a guy that's ready to play right away. And now when I think about player comps, guys that have come into the league and right away took it by storm, you got your D Rose type, you got your Ja Morant type, you got your Russell Westbrook type of player. Those guys, I feel like, have a better chance of coming into the league and just taking the league by storm right away. So I go with Scoot in 5.
You know, I agree with you. I would have picked Miller, but there's so much side of so much what if of what's going on there, and I wish the kid the best.
Right.
But there's a little bit on unknown there that it'll keep me from saying he'll be the one.
Right.
But Scoot has that experience that we're talking about that Wemby is going to need. And I think he is going to be the Ja Morant to Zion Williamson 5 years from now.
Man, I see some plays from Scoot. Man, that's why I'm like, the way they just giving Wembanyama the #1 pick, like
he has a year on the league already. Basically.
Yeah, and like he's proven it. So I think he's gotten a year of playing NBA basketball, learning NBA systems, and feeling like he belongs. So I think I'll go with Scoot on that.
And by the way, that opinion is because all I've seen is the same highlights you've seen of of Wembanyama. So
Right,
I've never
right.
seen him
Yeah,
under
none of us
pressure,
really know.
a
Yeah.
game situation,
Right.
or So
I watched a couple full games of him just to kind of see
Like I saw the G
his
League
bad
game, but-
moments too. I want to see the bad moments too. So I watched
exactly.
I
How
watched
he
the full
reacts
game.
to.
Yeah. He's solid. He's definitely experienced, and he's been in very high pressure big games before. So he won't fold in the moment. I just think it'll take him some time to really become the player that we are hoping he'll be.
Alrighty, we are going to talk a little bit more NBA drafts. Stay with us. We got more Booby's World straight ahead. Alrighty, welcome on back into Booby's World with Daniel Booby Gibson and Rafa Alcalde. I'm Nick Padone. Guys, it's Booby 4-3. Every week we rank the guys' top 3 favorite things, what they're feeling about talking this week. This week we're going to rank the top 3 NBA draft steals of all time. Booby, you were a second-round pick. We saw NBA
that was gonna
champion.
be my first one right there. I was gonna go with myself. me.
We saw NBA Finals MVP as a second-round pick this year, and obviously the Cavs have a big second-round pick coming up. So let's get into it.
It's a lot of gold in that second round, man. I give one of mine. I was gonna pick myself.
Good, yeah. Why not?
Just because I feel like that second round, you might not always get a star, but you'll get a guy that can really help you get to the finals. And I went to a team by going in the second round, I was able to go to a contender, a team that was potentially playing for a championship. And sometimes when you get drafted high, you don't get that opportunity. So I was able to get drafted there and have an opportunity to play in the finals my first year. And I went 42nd. So
you rarely get a guy in second round coming in and maybe having a short
with no
10, 15 minutes and
yeah,
then earn it.
I had no expectations. They drafted Shannon Brown in front of me, so he was going to get the opportunity to play before I did.
Yeah.
And so I was literally at the end of the bench, but them drafted me, and I had my game 6 that year, and I was able to help us get to the finals. Second, I probably go with Manu Ginobili.
The best part about those things is when they announce them. If you see the video of with the San Antonio Spurs, Manu Ginobili, like
yeah, they had no idea how to say his
they're
name.
like, what? What did they just
Yeah,
draft?
he went. Can you imagine 57?
Yeah.
It was 56 guys in the draft better than him, but that's guys fall, and then he goes on to be a Hall of Famer. And then I kind of want to switch it up and jump back to the first round. I'm gonna go with Steph. I feel like when I think about the guys that went in front of Steph Curry, Golden State got the biggest steal out of everybody.
That's 7, right?
He went 7, but it was like Johnny Flynn, it was like some
guys that are not even in the league.
They didn't last. I think they might have played out their rookie contracts and were done. But I'll go with Steph as my last one because I think he kind of obviously will be the greatest shooter ever. But those 7 picks in front of him, I think 6 picks in front of him, I think all those teams are wishing they chose something different.
Yeah. I'll stay with the Spurs because Manu to me was more of a surprise that he lasted that long because him playing for Argentina was a little more
because he had
aware of him or what he could do. Obviously, he
years.
developed into a much better player, but I think Tony Parker at 28
for sure.
It's a big steal for them, and that's again going back to the experience that the Spurs have with international type of players. Because Don Nelson does that kind of thing too. You used to do it in Dallas as well. Because they weren't just gambling and getting, maybe this guy, I heard this guy is good.
They do their homework. The fact that I just said Manu and you said Tony says a lot about the Spurs front office.
Correct, yeah. And I think, Giannis at that position, even though that was, I don't know if it was a gamble or maybe they knew a lot more than we did because.
I mean, to look at him when he first came in, nobody could know that he was going to come. He was going to become the Greek freak. He was skinny, he didn't have no weight on him, and he put all that weight on him 3-4 years.
And this has to be a steal now, and I'm sorry, Kendrick Perkins, you're going to be worried that, you were the original fat boy, but Jokic, man, he gotta be. I don't know what Perkins have against Jokic.
I don't know.
He's calling him the best player in the league, but still didn't vote for him. But
right,
I don't know what it is, but I think he had what he has turned out, and I think you got to give credit to the way they worked him, and then because you and I were talking about how at the beginning, I think Jokic averaged like 5 points a game,
Yeah, he
9
didn't start.
points a game, and he didn't start. He was coming off the bench, and then Murray came in, and then or the other way around. But I think he has to be considered up there, and there's so many obvious ones like the Lakers stealing the pick from Charlotte. It was when they drafted Kobe.
That's a good one.
That has to be a steal, man. I know I'm only allowed 3, but the Hornets picked.
If I'm Charlotte, though,
the Hornets picked Kobe and traded him for Vladdy Divac and I forget who else. So I mean that's a steal within itself.
For sure. I was thinking that one though because like the fact that they gave him up, like that's probably the curse that Charlotte got right now. That's why they came.
And that was what's his name, Mr. Masterful, the logo.
Mike? No, that was Michael Jordan.
No, the logo.
Oh,
Jerry West is the one that was in charge of that.
Okay.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Wow, I would be so sick if I was a Charlotte fan because think of some of the other things in recent years that they've messed up. I mean, there's so many stars in the league. They could have had Book. They could have had Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And they've got guys that they took instead of those two that are barely in the league anymore.
And that's the beauty of this draft, man. We don't know. We going in thinking that we've seen these highlights of these kids or watched them play in college, and we think we know what we get.
And I wanted to ask you this because obviously the fit matters, obviously, but we all know that anybody that is on that draft night that wearing that beautiful suit are talented.
Yep.
But from your point of view, what is it that can keep a player something that they can do personally? Not forget about the fact that they sit on the bench, they don't get the right opportunity or whatever. But what is it about what the players can or cannot do to kind of like keep themselves from
mentality? Gotta have the right mentality. And that's why mentors are so important in this league. And we getting away from it as an NBA organization. We don't have veterans on these teams no more. So these young guys coming in, they not being taught the way. They not being shown how to be a good pro, or how to play the right way, or how to approach a basketball game, or how to not be down when things don't go your way because you're playing 82 games in a year. Like, just your approach, the way that you prepare yourself for an NBA basketball game, you got to have somebody to teach you that.
And the reason I ask you is because most of these guys getting drafted, they are the leading scorer or the leaders in their school team. Lamar Stevens, he's one of the highest scorers in the Big Ten, right? But mentally, to be able to prepare yourself to become that role player, to kind of earn your spot, I think that has to be.
That's exactly what separates the guys that last and the guys that don't. The guys that understand that you have to change your approach and you have to change your way of thinking to be able to
no longer
be a good teammate. Yeah. But you can still be a top gun. You in the best league in the world. It's only 400 of these jobs. So you blessed to be in that position. So don't get down on yourself. But you just have to find a way to affect the basketball game, knowing that it's 15 of the guys that was the best scorer on their team when they was coming into the league. So just finding that role, finding that niche.
Alrighty, we are going to snag another commercial break. Don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're going down memory lane with Booby, what that draft night actually looked like and where he was when he got that call from the Cleveland Cavaliers. More Booby's World straight ahead. Alrighty, welcome on back into Booby's World with Daniel Booby Gibson, Rafa Alcalde. I'm Nick Padone. Booby,
yo,
NBA draft night.
What do you wear?
Scariest night of my life. I didn't get invited to the green room. Obviously, like I was a second round pick.
You would have been like Brady Quinn, man, just sitting there all night.
Yeah, they would have never called my name. But so it was. Remember I told you guys I went and only did 2 workouts. I put all my eggs in the basket.
Houston and
Cleveland. That's it. And so I really wanted the opportunity to play with LeBron, but it was a scary feeling knowing that I had not worked out for none of the other teams in the league. So I was just hoping that maybe they saw a game or 2 in college and it was like we'll take him.
Were you at one point like doubting your decision to just work out for 2 teams?
Hell yeah. When they said Shannon Brown's name that night, my heart just sunk because I was thinking I'm like, if they said they'll take me, why not take me with this pick? So I'm just, and it sunk at that moment because I hadn't spoken to them since that time. So I didn't know what to expect. But as the pick was going, to tell you where I was, that gave me a lot of comfort. I was at my grandmother's house, and so I'm sitting on the couch.
She knew you were getting drafted.
Yeah. My granny made sure that I was in the right spirit because to her, I'm the GOAT. I'm the best player to ever play basketball. And so I was getting nervous, and she could tell. And I walk outside just to kind of get some fresh air because that's like one of the biggest fears, like sitting in that room with all of your family in that room. And
the phone ain't ringing?
Yeah, the phone ain't rung yet. You just waiting on the phone to ring. And it's going pick after pick. And your anxiety is just building, man. And I had to wait until like about 40. The phone rung. And it was rest in peace, Lance Blanks. He went to the University of Texas. He was like, I know you was over there nervous, but we'll get you're gonna be our 42nd pick, and coach will be calling you here in a minute. And I just broke down, man. I'm like kind of getting teary-eyed right now because when I got drafted, or that night, my grandmother was there, but she passed before I actually played an NBA game. So, but just thinking about that moment, knowing that she got to see my dream get fulfilled was the greatest moment of my life.
And at what point at that night, that moment, that greatest moment of your life of, you have accomplished your goal, right? Yeah. At what point did that become, oh man, I gotta roll up my sleeve and get going on this? Because now the next part of the dream starts.
Yeah.
Now you gotta make it and stay in the league.
It didn't. I slept that night with the biggest smile. Like I didn't even think about it. But
what time do you go to bed, really?
I mean, I went out and had the time of my life.
So that was actually my next question is once the pick is announced and obviously
it's party time now. Yeah. It's shot. Yeah, because now you got to let loose.
Were you like, hey, everybody, it's on me.
Yeah. I go out that night and the club drinks on me. I was sweating. But yeah, that turned out to be the greatest night of my life, man. And I woke up that next morning though, like, okay, it's time to get to work. Now, being a second round pick, there's no guarantees. I gotta go ahead and earn it. But that changed my mentality though that night. When we talk about mentality and like what makes guys stick, that humbled me that night getting drafted 42. I'm like, in order for me to be in this league, I'm gonna have to outwork everybody and just to have a chance to play.
So what's the process like once you're actually drafted? Like, do they kind of call you up and get you to Cleveland like right away?
Listen,
the next day?
They don't play no games. I was on a private flight that next morning. Like I'm talking about you there.
They'll fly the next day.
You fly the next day. You fly into town. You meet the fans. You do your interview. You jump right to it, and then the next day after that, you on the court. And now you might have 2 or maybe a week to prepare, and then you right at Summer League.
And they'll put you in the hotel, and they'll put you in the thing, and don't worry about it.
Right after Summer League, you got maybe 2 weeks, and they want you back there to get ready for the season. So once that draft day starts, it's the greatest moment of your life, but it's really when the real work starts.
And I have to say, I only have experience with the Cavs in this matter, and I'm pretty sure that the league has it in some kind of uniformity, but we are usually the best at almost everything. But they take care of you in terms of like you don't have to worry about your housing or where am I going to live? Well, how do I get there? They obviously, and the lower you get picked, the better the perks is, I'm sure. But they do take care of you. I mean, even me, I came in as an employee. It was just very basic because I came in and then 3 days later we were playing the Knicks.
The Cavs is a first-class organization.
For sure.
And I hear about it when other guys come in from other teams and they talk to me about their experience over there, and they like, man, it's nothing like here. They treat you like family. They respect you. They respect you as men. They want to see you succeed. And it's just an environment that breeds production and winning. So
let me ask you, how much was the bill that night or the draft night?
Man, some bands. I want to say, about a good 50.
Yeah?
Yeah.
50?
Good 50. Yeah, 50 of them things. I had a big check on the way, man. I could have some fun, you know what I'm saying? I had to take care of my people, man. That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Booby, we're glad that it played out this way and we got you here now.
Wouldn't be here without it.
In Booby's world.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Booby's World. Until next time, we'll see you. So long.
Shoot it, Booby!
By the box way. But on this road to success, ain't no stops made. Ain't no room for doubt either, so you must